Well, if your family member went missing, you would hope their case would be entered into a national clearinghouse for this type of information. And that's not the case in episode 13 of our podcast, What Remains, that's out today. The story of how it became the law in Texas to put records of missing people and unidentified remains into a national database. It happened after some grieving families reached out to a young politician running for office. Here's a sneak peek of the episode.
They went through the worst pain imaginable, and losing a loved one is hard enough, but to have to go through and not know where they are and what happened. So for them just wanting to fight for other people and making sure that this doesn't happen to other families, and it's pretty amazing.
And the host of What Remains, Amanda Lamb, joins us this morning. Amanda, first of all, this is pretty shocking that this is not a law in every state. It's something that you think would be a law.
Exactly. And, you know, I think most of us would assume that this information would be shared, but actually it's only a law right now in 12 states, including North Carolina.
Okay.
Texas was the most recent state for this to happen. But I mean, if you can imagine, you know, there's missing persons reports and then there's reports of unidentified remains. There's no way to connect them if they're not put into some kind of a national database. And that's what this law is about.
Wow, that's really cool. And it's pretty interesting about how this young politician got involved. Tell us about that.
Absolutely. Lacey Hull was going door to door, knocking on doors, you know, talking to constituents, talking to voters. She met David Fritz, whose son had disappeared in 2017. It took 2 years to identify his remains, even though they were found right after he went missing. And she was heartbroken to hear this story. And she said, if I'm elected, I'm going to help. 1 week after she got elected, she called him and she said, let's get to work. So following through on a promise.
Yeah, what a blessing there. She, along with 2 other families also that had gone through similar situations, got John and Joseph's Law passed. Tell us about those.
So basically, there was a daughter whose father had been missing, and she was also involved. So she and David kind of joined forces, and along with Lacey, they got this law passed. And what it says is, if you are a law enforcement agency in the state of Texas, if you are a medical examiner who finds remains or has remains in his or her possession, you need to put this into NamUs, which is the national database for missing persons. And they are hoping that this will happen in every other state in our country. So again, right now, 12 states, but they're lobbying to make this law everywhere.
It should be, but you mentioned that it is here in North Carolina.
Yes, it is in North Carolina. And so, you know, we are one of those states where this information is shared, and it's really a no-brainer. It should be shared.
I was just going to say that. It's
absolutely.
A no-brainer. Yeah. All right, Amanda, thank you so much. In episode 1 through 13 of What Remains, they're available wherever you get your podcast. Definitely listen. It's unbelievable. For photos, transcripts, blogs, and even more, you can go to whatremainspodcast.com. Amanda Lamb, thank you so much. Always a pleasure.
Thank you.